Greetings everybody and welcome to my breakdown of the Cyberpunk 2077 trailer that just got released, I suppose, during the Microsoft conference right at the very end. Usually I don't make these type of videos, but because it's Cyberpunk, I really wanted to do something like this. I'm sure we all are extremely excited for this game to come out, so I'm just gonna consume all the content and information I can get about this game until we finally get it. So a small disclaimer, I know the game is based on the role-playing game Cyberpunk 2020 that came out in what, the 80s or something? I'm not sure, but I don't know too much about it, so if there's any like references to that game or something you can figure out there, I probably wouldn't find it. Just let me know if you find something cool. But basically what I want to do with this video is just go through the scenes one by one and try to maybe figure out what could possibly happen in the game, see what's in the background, if we can read any newspaper articles, and just kind of come up with our own theories about what might happen story-wise and so on. So the trailer starts out where probably the protagonist just, gets up from his seat in a sort of subway or something. And the cool thing is he has this jacket that's really glowy and stuff, and he has this collar that has these like glowing lines as well. I'm mentioning that because I see that later at a different person. I just wanted to bring this up right now. And of course a little disclaimer at the bottom as well that says this is all game engine footage, so that is always a good sign, I suppose. I like this whole apartment complex building or something. It reminds me of that Judge Dredd movie where all these gangs hang out in this giant kind of like indoors apartment complex or something. And then of course we get a little bit of a shot right away at like some of the business people. It's Cyberpunk, it has to have the good old mega corporation, lots of business being done here and there. Cool little shot of this kid playing with his VR headset, some mysterious rich lady exiting out of a car. And then we get like a little shot again at our, I'm guessing, protagonist. In this case though, his collar is not glowing, so I don't know if that's something he turns on and off or if that has any purpose. He looks very augmented though in his face, all these different shapes and lines and mechanical and metal parts. Some people beating up a dude who's he's lying next to a gun, I think. It looks like a bit of a strange gun, very flat or something, but he probably deserved whatever he's getting there, maybe trying to rob people, who knows. This shot really reminds me of like Hotline Miami or something like this. Cool little pool game. You even see the chances of like, or the strengths of your cue when you try to, hit the ball. A couple of people training, also super augmented, like you can see at the back and stuff, like all these indented metal pieces or something all over the body, which is pretty cool. Beating up this poor robot. Okay, and this is by far my favorite shot from this entire trailer. I love the scenery of this. Just these, like, this is very like Ghost in the Shell, kinda, I feel like. The guys in the background look very not human at all, so I don't know if there's going to be androids as well, or if these are just extremely augmented humans, got to replace a lot of their body parts with mechanical parts, augmented parts, but they're still like inside, there's still parts of them that's human, or maybe they've been completely designed just mechanical, they're complete androids. We can see it says like combat cap at the top, so I don't know, maybe a special cap just for people who, have guns or go into combat or whatever. It's interesting that there's a distinction between those. And then also like, the cab driver is in a separate compartment, so he's safe-ish. There's some signs. I think the bottom of says something probably like put your weapons on safe, so you don't break stuff. Wonder if his glass is bulletproof. I would hope so. You see his driver license and everything just exposed like this, so yeah. But these guys in the back, they look awesome. I'm sure there may be some of the enemies we might encounter something, that look somewhat evil, so who knows. And we actually see, like in the next shot too, there's this girl just, applying some makeup, but she also has to, her whole jaw is all mechanical. It's like actually not attached to her head at all, and you can see all the inner parts of it. So again, wondering if she's completely mechanical, complete android, or if she's just, extremely augmented. She seems to have a lot of stuff in the background too, like news articles. Now, Lizzie Wizzy in award show scandal. Maybe this is Lizzie Wizzy and, she's just looking at her past news or whatever. Now we see our little main character, I'm guessing. Again, he has a gun that's from Militech, and Militech seems to be an ongoing corporation here as well. There's a couple of these shots where You can see the name Militech show up again. But he's also like standing, while he's standing at the car at the background, you can see Arasaka, and that is one of the mega corporations as well. I did look on the wiki a little bit for Cyberpunk 2020, and all these names show up too, so they seem to be very important, and we see that name throughout the trailer as well a few times. But yeah, next shot we see this little robot dog, also by Militech. I just watched a video by Boston Dynamics. They have this new robot dog as well. I forgot what it's called, Spot Mini, I believe. It totally reminds me of that. It's pretty crazy. But seems like there are probably some dealers selling that type of tech, you know, just demonstrating it. Here's what we can do. Look at these. Give me your monies. Very shady, very black market style. This shot is pretty cool because this reminds me of, you know, this seems to be like a star or something as well. Like she's on a red carpet. People are super excited to see her, but she's completely like metallic or something. Again, is she like made up out of, you know, is she an android? Is she just like a, you know, well, an android superstar, I suppose, a manufactured superstar, or is that some sort of augment that her skin is like this, or maybe just paint, you know, some glittery body paint, but it looks very like metally, so I'm not sure. And then the scene, if you take away his, you know, cyber gun there, this could just be Far Cry 5 or something. It's very like Hillbilly style or something, you know, guy very angry with his wife, pregnant wife, in the background wearing those American shorts. It's kind of funny. There's the main guy again, eating his ramen, being interrupted by two guys pointing guns at him. Reminds me so much of the Blade Runner scene where Deckard is eating his noodles, you know, and being annoyed by those like cop guys in the background. So he seems to be some sort, you know, he seems to be someone important, probably a mercenary or a hired gun or hitman or something like this, right? And obviously he probably doesn't make a lot of friends in that kind of job, and runs into a lot of these guys that, you know, want to get him. That maybe he has a hat, like it's like a he has like a wanted fee on him or something, people trying to kill him so they can cash in, who knows. Now we see this like scene. This is interesting because of like some things that happen a bit later, but like just to keep this in mind at this point. So there is a guy he's being revived, it looks like. He's lying next to a little, I guess like a gas grenade, right? Like all these two cop guys or medic guys wear helmets so they, you know, won't get affected. But everyone is pretty chill around them. No one is like panicking. They're just like standing there watching. Some people just walk by. So I don't know if there was like a protest and, you know, they threw these gas grenades, or maybe this gas grenade is like a drug. I mean, there's like a lot of pills on the ground too. So I don't know if these pills are like drugs, right? Or if that's from the medics somehow. Something is going on. But again, we see this girl with those light stripes at her leg. Could just be an augment, but maybe it's also an android model or something. And then these two people there with the guns and the one reviving, they have this symbol on the side, right? It looks like a medic symbol. I don't know if this is like an actual symbol, if it means something. I don't think I've seen that before. But the weird thing about that is to me that in a later shot, we see that symbol again, but not in a medic way. So let's just keep this in mind for now. Okay, then just a bunch of gangsters, I guess, you know, barbecuing and playing some basketball. This is cool because you see this guy jumping with his ball, and he has some sort of augments to, you know, make him jump a lot higher too. It just showcase how casual, I guess, these augments are, right? Like people just have them. It's nothing special, I suppose, anymore. And, you know, they just use it for their everyday operation, I suppose. I'm guessing they're gonna belong to the Valentinos. That's the name that's gonna happen later again, but just again something that I want to put out there, so we can talk about that in a bit. So this one is super interesting. So they seem to be in space, you know. You obviously see Earth, or maybe a different planet, who knows. In the background, they're in some sort of like space shuttle. The guy's hooked up to a wire, and then his entire like face and head is being fried. Flames or sparks are coming out of his head. Maybe his augments got corrupted and destroyed, or whatever it is. The guy in the foreground, I don't know if he's part of it, like he knows what happened there, or if he's just like a rich dude who doesn't give a shit about what's just happening to this other guy, right? Because he looks very chilled. He just sips on his drink and doesn't give a crap. And again, ladies in the background with these light stripes. Could there be androids, service androids or something? Could there be actual humans? Not sure. But we see this like being fried again a bit later as well. And then this ominous person, blonde hair, drink in a hand in front. You know, if you have a giant room with a giant TV screen and just one big chair in the middle, chances are you're probably not the nicest person. You're probably evil, maybe. Kind of a sign. But so he's watching this protest at the background, and it seems like, you know, on the left side the protesters, on the right side the cops. And some of these things are like highlighted, some in red, some in white. I'm guessing red maybe displaying as that's a threat or something, right? Because you can actually see like some of the protesters are marked as white. So it's not like, you know, all the protesters are bad and all the cops would be good or something like this. The only one that's marked in red from the protester side is the guy who's throwing the Molotov. On the right side with the cops, you can only see the guys being aggressive and with guns also being marked as red. You know, that giant robot dude and someone else on the top. And then at the top there is some news tickers or something. I can't quite read the first one. It's some sort of numbers, and then it says for redistributing stolen petrochem assets with intention to reduce inequality and poverty. So maybe that's what like that person or whatever who stole it or group is being accused of, you know. And then on the right side it says dozens killed since April amid a wave anti-corporate protests. So yeah, definitely stuff going on there. People rioting on the streets against all these mega corporations. But here's another clip where someone attached to a wire gets like fried. It looks different. He doesn't have sparks coming out of his like eyes. That's why kind of makes me think, you know, someone is frying their augments or something. The other guy in a plane or space shuttle probably had different augments, more you know, maybe some fancy eyes or something. This guy seems to have more something in the back of the head, like a brain implant maybe. But this is a Arasaka meeting. We can see the logos at the back and at the left side there. Probably like a big, you know, corporation meeting. And yeah, someone just gets fried being attached to his cable. So something is going on. And right in the next clip, we actually see this girl standing up from a chair who's also attached to this wire. And in the background on the TV, you can see that clip we just saw. And it seems to be like a live coverage, because at the bottom it just says Arasaka unveils new project for Night City. If this was like a news thing of like, oh, someone got killed in this meeting, then we would see that at the ticker at the bottom, right, as the title. So I'm guessing this is like a live cast of this meeting, just as it happened. So probably this lady is involved in frying these people's brains. So maybe that is part of the main story later on. Maybe it's some side quest. Oh yeah, and then this shot, this makes me a little bit excited. So that's what, so I mentioned earlier, you know, remember the cola from the main protagonist with the glowing line? This is the only other person that seems to have this jacket as far as I can tell. We don't see much of her. She just like kind of, you know, leans around the corner, hiding from the cops or something. Super cool design and everything. So I wonder if she's maybe also going to be a playable character, you know, maybe you can choose between her and the main guy. Maybe you play both, maybe you switch back and forth. I'm guessing there's no like character creator or something. If it's like The Witcher, you just play this pre-made character, which works probably pretty well with defining like, you know, the story and stuff a little bit better. If you just have a fixed character, you can write things specific to that person, you know, the way they behave and everything. But it would be nice if we get the option to at least play between the dude and her or something, you know, some choice would be great. All right, and this is the first time we kind of see this whole Valentino stuff. The guy is pulling out an eye, probably a mechanical eye out of a guy, but he has at the back of his jacket, he has Valentino written on there. And right in the next shot, we see some people robbing a store, and there's also a newspaper on the table that reads "Another Valentino foray in Pacifica." So they're probably going to be important in that whole you know, game. Probably a gang or something we keep running into, and I'm guessing that the guys robbing the bank may also belong to those Valentinos. That's why I'm thinking that the other guys who were playing basketball maybe also be part of it. They kind of just seem like this sort of style of gangs, you know, kind of like the Raiders from Fallout 4 or something like this, kind of crazy augmented style. And here's the car I was talking about. So we see this, you know, this car just popping up and immediately opening fire on people. But this one also has this symbol, this red symbol that these other guys that I thought were medics have. So I don't know if that's just a symbol for some sort of you know, police force or kind of like a SWAT team or something. I'm not entirely sure. But they don't hesitate. They just open fire on all these people. They seem innocent at first, just a guy smoking there on his balcony. But then you kind of see that everyone in there seems to be, part of some sort of military group or something like this as well. The guy who's being shot there also has a gun from Militech. So Militech seems to be distributing all of these guns among a lot of people. That's probably going to be a pretty big point in the story, I'm guessing. And a nice shot of the car of our main guy, and the license plate is Night City 20 and then CP77. Very nice. And I love this car design too. It's very Knight Rider style, especially also the little display for how fast he goes and stuff. It looks very 80s and Knight Rider style. He has some nitro boost buttons at the top, and then just a bunch of like car chasing scenes, and that's pretty much it. Then we see the logo come in, super cool animation for the logo, and that's pretty much all we see. However, at the very end, someone pointed out that there is, like, if you pause it at the right moment, you see this weird message pop up, and there's actually two messages, kind of, or like two frames with a different part of the same message, because it's like kind of broken up a little bit. But if you go back slightly before this shows up, the second half pops up as well. So I try to like layer them on top of each other to just see what the text is. So here it is. If you want to pause the video and just read it, I don't want to read it all out loud, you can do so. My favorite part is the bottom one, point number 4, microtransactions in a single player role-playing game. Are you nuts? Nice. But yeah, that's pretty much all we've seen. Unfortunately, still no release date, release year, nothing like this. And again, that text they explain kind of why that things are just taking a bit longer than it is. But you know what? That's fine. I mean, we've been waiting over like what, 5 years now since the teaser came out or something. Or has it been 6? I think 5. Not quite sure. We can wait a little bit longer. It's okay, CD Projekt always puts out really high quality games. I think they delayed The Witcher 3 2, from what I remember, just so they can polish it up a bit more. They don't want to rush it. They don't want to release if it's not in their mind, like, good enough to be released. So yeah, I mean, I'd rather wait longer and have a great game than, just get it now, as much as I want it right now, but then not be as good as it could be. So, because honestly, these type of games, they're pretty rare. We don't have a lot of Cyberpunk styled games. I'm hoping that this game is gonna make a lot of developers in the future go like, okay, this can work, this style works, people are interested in this, maybe we should jump on that bandwagon, make a bunch of these games in Cyberpunk style. I would love that. I just want more Cyberpunk in general. Movies, TV shows, games, what have you. Just put out more. It's a fantastic genre. There's so much you can do with this, so much lore, so much style, so much things you can just invent that go with the style. It would be great. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's just what I wanted to do, just talk a little bit about it. I'm super stoked about this. I don't know if we're going to see more of this game anytime soon, or if this is going to be it until they are ready to release, to announce when it gets released and that kind of stuff. Probably still going to take a few years, but hey, we can wait. We can wait. So what do you guys think about this game? Are you excited? What are you hoping it's going to be? Do you think I missed anything specific in the video that was, related to Cyberpunk 2020, or just something in general I totally missed? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.